So Charlotte, how's the temp and interim market right now?
Well, I'd say we've probably had a good start. I mean, the volume of roles has consistently come through, and I think, just generally firms have become more sophisticated in how they use interims. And we've probably seen, I think, a big shift in that in the last 5 years. I mean, COVID may have had some impact in that, but the quality of the candidates we have on the interim market now, I think, has been the best I've ever seen. And I've been doing interim recruitment for 15 years nearly. People are actively choosing this as a lifestyle choice, and I think, again, via the pandemic a bit, it did make people realise that they wanted a bit more work-life balance, and that there was perhaps a bit more to being in a permanent role for 5 years, 10 years, 5 years, and really being able to mix up and actually enhance their careers. And I think there was a bit of a stigma perhaps around contracting, and that your career kind of flatlined a bit, and you went from sort of role to role. But I've seen people really accelerate their careers by doing some interim work, and that's possibly a bit because of the types of roles that are now on the market. And again, clients being more sophisticated with how they're using career contractors. I think strategically there's a big focus on HR now to step up as well. Again, probably because of the pandemic slightly, but where teams have been quite lean, if they've not got the internal expertise to look externally to the market for that. And what we've seen is that it doesn't need to be a big full-scale change transformation. You might just need some support with implementing a new ATS, or looking at upgrading your digital learning offering. Quite specific pieces of work, but you can get some really qualified people now to come in to help you with that.
And clients are quite specific, aren't they, on certain duties and systems-wise. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've always found the beauty of temping and contracting is that you can, with a variety of clients and different kind of working conditions and industries, you can pick up those skills, can't you?
Yeah, totally. And I think there's a much bigger market out there, I think, than people realise, to meet some what feels like quite specific needs. But there's a lot of people that will have done exactly what it is that you're looking for in similar industries sometimes, and it can be a bit of a timing game, but recruitment is like that in general. So I think firms have been able to be quite specific in what they're looking for.
But how are you finding the recruitment kind of pattern? Because I know from a payroll standpoint, some clients are interviewing temps and contractors like it's a perm role.
Yeah,
it's just taking a bit of time. Are you seeing that?
Yes, I think certainly you do a quick, maybe even telephone interview, and then you'd be in the next day is definitely, firms have started to move away from that. Yeah. But again, that's an emphasis on the level and the quality of what this person is coming in to do. And I think you have to be thinking longer term that maybe this person could be part of your business in the future. And I think you're sort of slightly short-sighted to not do that. And I can see you'd want to put an interim through a fairly rigorous process. But I think as and when the market starts to pick up, and it is already starting to, clients will need to be a bit more aware about timing and the timescales of how they're managing their interview process, because good people do get snapped up quickly. And I think if you can be on the front foot and have a particularly organised interview process for contractors in particular, it does make you, or ensure that you probably get the better person.
Yeah. And are you seeing temp to perm, FTC to perm? Are clients offering that kind of perm opportunity?
Yes, I think probably there's also been a temptation to offer some permanent roles interim initially, just with the uncertainty in the market in the last 2 or 3 years. Yeah. And again, I understand the reasons behind that, particularly if it's a newly created role and you're not entirely sure where things are going to be. But now things do seem to be settling down. We've probably actually seen less of that, I'd say, this year now. It's more targeted, specific pieces of project work that's probably been delayed, or people haven't quite made a decision on until this year, and it feels like that's the where the market will go.
I think that's the beauty of temp and interim, isn't it, and FTCs, that if the client's not quite sure what they want, we can give you some options, like the try before you buy.
Exactly.
Ultimately, then if that candidate works out, offer them the perm opportunity. If it's not quite right, they can test the market still, can't they?
You can go again, and it just gives you that level of flexibility when it feels like the market is still a little bit uncertain.
And I suppose moving forward from that, are you seeing any kind of, roles coming on in certain industries?
We, again, are busier probably within the C&I market at the moment, or commerce and industry. Again, I think it's possibly in some pockets where those HR functions are really needing to upskill and are really needing to strategically evolve. And actually, in some of those cases, it's been a slightly more senior role, maybe an interim head of or an HR consultant to come in and do a whole diagnostic of the HR function. Often if you've got a fairly junior head of HR who maybe has grown up with the firm, we've had quite a few of these sorts of roles, some strategic input and someone who can come in, give their assessments, either stay and run and help build the function along with them or go at that point has been a great tool for clients.
Okay, and levels-wise?
Levels-wise, we're fairly fluid across. I mean, the senior market has taken a bit longer to pick up, but we tend to have a steady stream of maternity covers. There's still a big market for coming in to fill a role that's there, maternity, long-term sick, whatever it might be, or someone being seconded. That's still a big market. And there's a lot of candidates still that are really keen to do that sort of work too.
Yeah, and flexibility as well, with the hours coming in, hours, etc.
Yes, and sort of generally, having real consultant type roles. I guess we've seen probably more part-time interim work as well. And, this term sort of fractional interim, fractional HR, really, again, with clients being more sophisticated in how they're using contractors, if they are coming in at that very senior level, thinking, do we actually need someone here 5 days a week? Physically, we're probably only in the office 2-3 days a week. Let's be a bit more fluid with how we're using this person and, have them completely on for 2 days and then again the same week. So, that has been a real build, and particularly at that senior level, a lot of career interims like the idea of having more of a portfolio career now and working with 2 or 3 different clients at the same time, provided there's no conflict of interest. But again, you're getting really good value for money, I think, now from an interim, because they are physically seeing what's going on in a similar business to yours sometimes and able to share that expertise. It's a great benefit, I think, to businesses considering interim.
Yeah, and it's nice to see the clients asking your opinion and your expertise as well. So you get a lot of the work on sole agency.
Yes, most of them. I think particularly if you're going to market for a contractor, you want to really just be going through one person because, our depth of network is vast, and there's a lot of people that actually are often in contracts, but you're aware of the timings when they're finishing, and you can help line that up nicely for them to get their next role, because most of them don't want to do permanent recruitment anymore or permanent work anymore.
And lastly, are you seeing the majority of roles in London? Is there much happening regionally as well?
I think regionally we've been a bit quieter, I'd say. I mean, we're able to have a vast or bigger network of candidates, certainly from where they're coming from to come into London. But the majority of my team in London, obviously the London team, look at that, or kind of within the M25. But I think regionally we're probably seeing a bit of an aftershock from last year. And it's probably fair to say that it will take a bit of time for that market to recover.